Yo, I am not even gonna try playing you guys right now. I feel so nervous and actually a little bit anxious just sitting in front of this camera after taking a month off. But I know I really do enjoy filming, and I know this is going to feel more comfortable and more natural as this starts to go on and as I start to get into the groove again. Now, today I have something a little bit different to talk about. But it's not just for females. I really think it's important that if you are a man, which is majority of my audience, I think it is important that you stay, because in order to fix this issue, we need to have both parties understand each other's bodies. And that's exactly what we are trying to do when we are talking about intimacy, when we're talking about sex and connection. It's how to understand each other's mindset and the differences so that we can come and unite in the middle and understand a little bit better. So today we are going to be talking about vaginas and vulvas. So as we lean into this, I want you to know that it is 100% normal for you to have questions or health concerns about your vulva or your vagina. However, if you're coming from a place where you are worried about whether your vulva or your vagina is normal, the way it smells, the way it tastes, the way it looks, the way it feels, chances are these are insecurities coming from a place of shame, which is obviously not your fault, and I have definitely been there too, but rather the result of centuries of misogynistic stigma around our vaginas. But I want you to know and understand that just like any other body part, there is no standard normal. Our bodies are all very different. So thank you for showing up for yourself, for your education, and for your knowledge on the vulvas. Gather around, it's time we break down the reality behind these common worries. This has got to be the most common worry that all of us have experienced, and it is, does my vulva look normal? Now, first things first, we're gonna do a little quick fast anatomy lesson on what our vulva and what our vagina is. So here we have my little 3D print model here. The vulva is everything on the external genitalia. As I just choked on my own saliva because we haven't done this in a minute. So you have our clitoris is included in the vulva, as well as the labias, the vaginal opening, the urethra, the urethral opening, and then we go inside into the vagina. So the vagina is actually the internal muscular canal connecting the vaginal opening all the way to the cervix. That's it. That's only what the vagina is. Okay, so we are talking about the external vulva because nobody's really asking what the inside of my vaginal walls look like and is that normal, because truth is we can't see our vaginal walls. So we are most likely worried about what the vulva looks like. Let us not forget that vulvas come in all different shapes, all different sizes, and all different colors. Where mainstream porn has really done a disservice to women and men is where they have only specifically selected hairless, symmetrical, tiny labia vulvas, making the majority of men and women believe that that's the only way a vulva can look, when in fact, like we said, it comes in all different shapes, all different sizes, and all different colors. And to be honest, that's not how most natural vulvas look. It's completely normal to have asymmetrical labias, just how it is to have asymmetrical breasts or asymmetrical feet. But with the obsession over the perfect vulva or the perfect labias has led to a dramatic rise in labiaplasties, which is a surgery to alter and make perfection in your pussy. A surgery that involves resizing and reshaping was only necessary in extremely rare cases, when the labias are so long that they actually become disruptive or they are extremely painful and affecting your everyday life. As for color, we all know that vulvas come in all different shades. However, that shade doesn't just depend on your skin tone, but it also can change given your change in your fluctuation in your hormones. Your vulva doesn't have to be the same color as the rest of your skin. Certain parts like your labia might actually be a different color. Just like your fingerprint, no two vulvas are exactly the same. Now I want you to repeat it back to me. There is no such thing as a normal vulva. There is no such thing as a normal vulva. Say it with me. There is no such thing as a normal vulva. Your vulva is beautiful just the way that it is. And don't let anyone tell you any different. The next worry that we have is something that makes me incredibly sad and also incredibly angry. However, all of these make me incredibly mad and incredibly sad. But you know what? That's why we are here, and we are talking about these worries and why they just need to go. So this worry is my vagina too loose? Now, this myth of a loose vagina actually comes from cultural narratives surrounding virginity and chastity. Okay, reeling it back in. Reeling it in. The vagina is not naturally tight. It actually expands and contracts according to how aroused you are. Now, while the shape and the feeling of your vagina may change due to time, age, pregnancies, labors, penetrative sex doesn't make your vagina looser. And let us not forget that if you are obsessed with doing Kegels because you believe it's going to make your vagina tight, I'm here to tell you, rather than making your vagina tight, it's actually strengthening your pelvic floor, which are the muscles surrounding the vagina, not the vagina itself. The next common worry that we have is my vagina wet enough? Now, for those of you that don't know, our vagina is naturally self-lubricating. However, there is no normal to how much wetness we actually produce. Even people that have absolutely no problem getting wet will still like to use lubrication. And that's specifically because it can provide extra comfort. Now, I know for me, and I know statistically, when you add lube, there is an 80% chance that you are going to increase pleasure, and increase in pleasure means usually an increase in orgasm. So if you have an 80% higher chance by adding lubrication, why wouldn't you? Plus, we have normalized painful sex for too long. So many people experience discomfort or pain during sex, and we have been told that painful sex is normal. Like, even with our first time, it's like, oh, it's gonna hurt the first time you have sex, but don't worry, just a little pain, it's gonna be okay. It's like, no, now we have taken that and we have normalized it so that when we experience pain during sex, we don't feel comfortable vocalizing. That's a whole other video on its own. But to bring it right back, dryness should only be a concern if you are experiencing chronic discomfort or painful sex. And vaginal dryness can occur for many different reasons. Medication, menopause, breastfeeding, hormones, trauma. If you have an issue with chronic dryness, make sure you talk to your healthcare provider. The next worry that just has to go is, does my vagina taste or smell bad? Guess what? I won't be the first to say it, and I won't be the last to say it. Vaginas taste like vaginas. Does any part of your body smell or taste like a vanilla cupcake or a bouquet of flowers? No. And neither should your vagina. Vaginas are naturally acidic, so their taste is usually described as somewhat sour. Now, if you're experiencing a fishy smell or a smell that is not your normal, that is often a sign of an infection, and most commonly bacterial vaginosis. Now, the most beautiful thing about our vaginas is that it actually is self-cleaning. They balance their own pH, but by you putting any soaps inside or douching your vagina can actually disturb the balance of the natural pH levels, causing an infection. Now, there are tons of products out there that claim to fix or to cover the natural smell of your vagina. But those companies are capitalizing on that long perpetuated stigma against vaginas being dirty. When you decide to clean your vulva, you are going to be sticking to the outside. Notice how I didn't say the vagina, because the vagina is self-cleaning, like I had just stated. You want to be using warm water and a very mild soap. And like I said, one more time, stick to the outside, nothing with a very heavy scent, because we're not supposed to smell like vanilla cupcakes and flowers and delicious, delectable. That's just not how it is. It's just not how it's going to be, and we need to normalize that. Now, finally, the last one that I want to touch base on, and a worry that definitely needs to go, is what if I queef? Well, what if you do queef? First of all, queefing is just air escaping out of the vagina. Now, the vagina is a canal where air can get trapped in there. Now, queefing normally happens when you are changing a position during sex. Maybe you're coughing, maybe you're exercising. Air can just escape escape because there's only one way out, and it's through the same way it got in, and it's through the vaginal canal. So it's completely normal. All right, babies, I hope that this helps calm some of these worries, and I hope by talking about them more and normalizing them more, we can ditch the shame that has been put on our bodies for centuries, because this is just stuff that is no longer serving us. So I think it is time that we wrap it up. Thank you guys for staying tuned and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions about the video, hit me up in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you babies on Thursday for another video. Let's get it.